There comes a moment in life when the years stop feeling like numbers and begin to sound more like echoes, whispers of every choice, every chance, every quiet prayer that carried us here. After 60, the world doesn't shrink, it widens. The noise fades just enough for you to hear the truth beneath it all, the rhythm of something greater, something ancient, something divinely precise. You start to see how every hardship was a note in the symphony, every silence a pause that prepared your spirit to rise again. Life reveals itself not as a race, but as a sacred dance, one where you were never off beat, never late, never lost. You were simply being shaped, tuned, aligned with a purpose that grows clearer with time. And in that clarity you understand nothing that mattered was ever accidental. You know, people talk about age like it's a wall you suddenly run into. One day you're moving fast, the next day somebody tells you, slow down, you're getting older. But the truth is, age isn't a wall. It's a window, and after 60, that window gets clearer. You start to see things you couldn't see when you were busy trying to prove something, trying to be something, trying to meet expectations that were never yours to carry. The pace of life softens just enough for you to finally notice the details, the beauty in a simple morning, the meaning behind a long conversation, the gift in a memory that won't let you go. You begin to understand that the world was loud not because it had so much to say, but because you needed time to mature into someone who could finally hear what mattered. And what mattered was never the applause, never the trophies, never the perfect timing. What mattered was the truth you were gathering quietly along the way. Every mistake that humbled you, every triumph that taught you grace, every loss that stretched you into someone wiser, kinder, more aware. See, after 60, life doesn't ask you to speed up. It invites you to look deeper. It asks you to appreciate the way everything connects. How the person you were at 20 still whispers inside you. How the battles you fought at 40 gave you the courage you carry now. How the questions you had at 50 are finally starting to answer themselves. Age gives you a kind of clarity that isn't rushed, isn't forced. It's earned, and once you have it, you stop fearing time. You stop fearing change. You stop fearing the years ahead because you realize those years aren't taking anything from you. They're giving you understanding. And when you stand in that understanding, you see that you're not running out of time. You're running deeper into your own truth. You're seeing your journey for what it actually is. Intentional, meaningful, divinely woven. Every step guided even when you didn't know where you were going. And the beauty of it is this: age doesn't limit your vision, it sharpens it. There comes a point in life when you look back and realize that nothing, absolutely nothing, was random. Not the things that broke you, not the things that built you, not the moments that felt like detours, delays, or dead ends. Every season you walked through was preparing you for this one. You didn't always see the purpose in the struggle, and honestly, you weren't supposed to. Growth rarely announces itself while it's happening. It shows up later, quietly, like a light coming on in a room you didn't know you were standing in. Think about the hardships you survived, the disappointments that left you questioning your worth, the nights you laid awake wondering why life had to be so heavy. At the time, it felt like the world was closing in. But now, with the wisdom that only time can give, you can see that those seasons weren't punishment. They were preparation. They were shaping your resilience, deepening your compassion, sharpening your sense of direction. They were making sure that when this moment arrived, you would step into it with strength you earned and clarity you didn't always have. And it wasn't just the storms, even the quiet seasons, the ones where nothing seemed to move, were doing their work. Silence has a way of teaching you things noise cannot. It slows you down, steadies you, makes you listen to the parts of yourself you used to ignore. And when life brings you out of that silence, you carry with you a kind of understanding you couldn't have gained any other way. Every chapter you lived, every person you loved, every dream you chased, even the ones you outgrew. They all contributed to the person standing here now. You're not here by accident. You're here because every season lined up, piece by piece, moment by moment, to bring you to this exact point in your journey. And the beauty of being this age is that you finally see the connection between it all. You understand that the path wasn't supposed to be straight. It was supposed to shape you, prepare you, ready you, and now that you're here, you can say with confidence that nothing in your life was wasted. There's a moment in life when you stop needing the world to be loud for you to feel alive. When you're younger, everything feels urgent. Every opportunity, every mistake, every opinion. You rush, you chase, you push through the noise because you think that's what progress sounds like. But somewhere along the journey, especially as you move past 60, you discover something surprising. Your greatest power isn't in the noise. It's in the stillness. Stillness doesn't mean stopping. It doesn't mean giving up or slowing down your spirit. Stillness is clarity. It's that quiet place inside you where the truth speaks without shouting. The younger version of you might have been too busy, too pulled in every direction to hear it. But now you can finally listen, and what you hear in that silence is guidance, real guidance. Not the world's expectations, not the pressure to prove anything, but the quiet voice that's been carrying you through every season. When you sit in that stillness, you start recognizing patterns you once missed. You see how certain people entered your life right on time, how certain doors stayed closed to protect you, how certain moments of waiting were actually moments of alignment. You begin to understand that life isn't chaotic, it's crafted. And the stillness lets you appreciate that craftsmanship. Stillness gives you a different kind of strength. The strength that comes from knowing yourself. The strength to say no when the world demands yes. The strength to walk away from things that no longer serve your purpose. The strength to move with intention instead of impulse. And the older you grow, the more you realize intention is everything. There's a confidence that rises in you when you're no longer trying to outrun the noise of life. You let the world be loud if it wants to be, because you've learned that peace is not found out there. Peace is found in understanding who you are, what you value, and where you're truly meant to go. And once you touch that kind of peace, you never want to live without it. You stop chasing moments, and you start welcoming them. You stop forcing things, and you start trusting the timing. You stop searching for answers outside of yourself, because you understand the truth now lives within you. There's a strange myth people start to believe as they grow older, that life becomes smaller, that time begins to take more than it gives. They look at what's gone, what's changed, what slipped through their fingers, and they think the story is winding down. But the truth is, life after 60 isn't about subtraction. It's about revelation. You begin to see that you are not defined by what you've lost. You are shaped by what you've carried. Every lesson you earned the hard way is still with you. Every moment that tested you, every heartbreak that stretched your understanding of love, every challenge that forced you to rise even when you felt like sinking, those things didn't disappear. They became part of you. They deepened your insight. They widened your compassion. They gave you a strength that doesn't announce itself, but shows up when you need it most. When you look back, you might see people who left, seasons that closed, opportunities that passed. But if you look closer, you also see the courage that kept you moving. You see the faith that held you upright. You see how many times you rebuilt yourself silently, without applause, without anyone knowing the weight you were carrying. And those rebuildings, those quiet victories are what define you now. What the world counts as loss, life often counts as refinement. You don't lose everything you walk away from. Sometimes you gain yourself in the process. You begin to hold on to things that matter, peace, wisdom, relationships that nourish your soul, moments that ground you, purpose that aligns with who you've become, not who you used to be. And here's the beautiful part. The older you get, the more honest you become with yourself. You stop pretending. You stop explaining. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You realize that everything you've lived through has equipped you, not weakened you. You're not carrying emptiness, you're carrying truth, and truth has weight, but it also has wings. You are not the losses you survived. You are the resilience that rose from them. There's a beautiful truth that starts to reveal itself as you get older. Purpose doesn't fade. It shifts, it deepens, it refines itself, but it never disappears. When you're younger, purpose feels like a race. Something you have to chase, something you have to earn, something the world has to validate before you can believe it's real. You tie it to achievements, to goals, to whatever society tells you success is supposed to look like. But after 60, you start to understand that purpose was never about what you accomplish. It was about who you become. There's a freedom in that realization. You stop measuring your life by milestones and start measuring it by meaning. You begin to feel the difference between doing something because you're expected to and doing something because it aligns with the truth inside you. Purpose becomes less about proving and more about expressing your wisdom, your experience, your compassion, your presence. And if you really think about it, the purpose you carry now is richer than the one you had at 20 or 30. Back then you had ambition, now you have understanding. Back then you had drive, now you have direction. Back then you had potential, now you have perspective. And perspective is a powerful thing. It protects your energy, it sharpens your focus. It keeps you from pouring yourself into things that no longer nourish your spirit. Purpose evolves the way you evolve. It adapts to your growth. It expands as your heart expands. It doesn't need a stage or an audience or a title. Sometimes your purpose is simply being a voice of calm in a world full of noise. Sometimes it's showing someone younger than you what patience looks like. Sometimes it's offering kindness without expecting anything back. Sometimes it's choosing peace over pride. Purpose isn't always loud often, it's quiet, but it's never small. The beauty of being this age is that you finally understand you don't need to chase significance. You already carry it. Your purpose is woven into every story, every scar, every lesson. You don't have to search for it anymore. You just have to live it, authentically, consistently, courageously. There's a powerful shift that happens later in life, a realization that catches you by surprise. You're not done. Not even close. The world may whisper that your best chapters are behind you, that your story has already been told, that your role is to sit back and watch life happen. But something inside you knows better. You can feel it. There are still ideas stirring in your mind, still dreams tapping on your heart, still moments waiting for you to step into them. Your story isn't slowing down, it's unfolding. When you reach this stage of life, you gain something rare, perspective. And with perspective comes a deeper kind of creativity, a deeper kind of insight, a deeper kind of purpose. You start seeing possibilities where you once saw limitations. You start understanding that time didn't take away your potential. It simply refined it. It carved away the noise. It stripped off the pressure. It left you with a clearer sense of what matters and what you're truly meant to give to the world. Some of the most meaningful pages in a person's life are written after everyone assumes the book is finished. Because now you're writing with honesty, not ego, with wisdom, not hurry, with gratitude, not fear. You're no longer trying to impress anyone. You're trying to express something real, something earned, something deeply human. That authenticity, that raw, honest expression is what touches people the most. And here's the beautiful part. Your presence alone carries a weight it never had before. People feel your experience. They feel your calm. They feel the depth behind your words. You become a living reminder that growth doesn't stop, that purpose doesn't retire, that meaning doesn't evaporate with age. You show others without even trying that you can start again at any moment. That reinvention isn't just possible, it's powerful. You've lived enough to know what truly matters. and you've survived enough to know you can handle whatever comes next. That combination makes you unstoppable in a quiet, profound way. And every day you wake up, every breath you take, every step you choose with intention, you're writing the next chapter. So don't hold back now, don't shrink, don't dim your light because the world thinks it has seen all you can do.